Good morning. Sorry about that, just doing a last minute setup. Just answering a few messages. Yes, we are live on YouTube. It probably would help if I stuck that there and they'd be looking straight in. But weird, I call it. Right, whilst I'm playing with that, I'm looking at my administration windows. That's it. Right. Okay. Come on, guys. There's nobody talking on the Aussie Pub Net at the moment. At least I hope it's not fallen off the net. Let me just check the connection has not dropped off, which has been prone to do. No, I want all on. Thank you very much. All right, so you're live. Okay, let me just call that back up then. Oops, missed. Aussie Pub Net. There we go.
When we'll be opening up the Aussie pub doors in about stand by everyone. This is Scott VK4OZHUB, heading the range over to VK4NGA to open the pub net, but I will receive any early check-in until 7 o'clock. Please go ahead and call sign.
Talk group VK4OZHUB.
Show you what I'm doing. I'm just restarting my SvxLink to come back on.
Talk group VK4OZHUB.
That's better.
Right, Bravo 5 Hotel Tango repeater. The time is 9 hours.
Okay, everyone, thanks for the early check-ins tonight. I'll hand the reins over to VK4NGA. VK4NUG listening. Over to you there, Glenn. All right. Thank you, Scott, for doing early check-ins in the car park net. There was a bit of banter on the car park net. That was pretty good. Pretty good. So, welcome to this Friday night edition of the Aussie Pub Net. Guess what? Scott and I, we got the pub open. It's all go. Grab your favourite brew and a comfy chair. This is Glenn VK4NGA. If you didn't already realise, then I'll be tonight's net controller for the first half hour. Then after that, it's over to Clint, VK4CCQ, and then after that, it's over to Scott, VK4MVP, I think. We never know. I mean, you know, it could be over to you if you want to do half an hour on net controller. You just put your hand up. Let us know. We'd love to have you as a guest net controller. Anyway, I'm getting off topic. Thanks very much to the admin team from VK VK4OZHUB and the Aussie Pub Net. Great bunch of guys. Thanks, Scott. And Simon, of course, Simon's not well at the moment, so we're thinking about you, Simon. We miss you greatly. And I've got friends playing as well. So great team of guys. That's how it all happened. All right, topic for round one tonight is all about motorbikes, motorcycles. Alert, alert. Just bring some stories out of the woodwork, I reckon. I'll just have a break. So yeah, we've never talked about motorbikes, we've talked about cars, we've talked about food a lot, we've talked about...
Just realised I've got no audio.
Okay. A lot of things. If you want to know what we talked about, go to VK4OZHUB.com.au, click on the Aussie Pub Net tab, have a look, it's all there. All right, where am I up to? I've lost my place. Oh, guess what? The Aussie Pub Net's running also no tick on tick for every Friday. You can access in many ways. Please check out VK4OZHUB.com.au for more info on that. And of course, if you're already online, you haven't joined the All-Star Users Australian Facebook group and the Aussie Pub Net Facebook groups, well, tell your mates and all join together because we need more people on the groups. We need to get the word out, get the secret out that the hub's alive as well, the net's alive as well, and also growing fast in Australia. Big thank you to James and the team at VK4OZHUB.net who host VK4OZHUB on the servers. We very much appreciate that, that's for sure. VK Direct, leave the VKDirect.com.au for hosting the VK4OZHUB website on his server for free. Great price. Also, big thank you, hang on, just reset. Also, a big thank you to the Ansel Network, John and Robert and everybody involved in that connection. We very much appreciate that. It makes the Aussie Pub Net reach out far beyond Australia. And also to our latest connection, which is arranged by Chris, G4MAD. Thank you, Chris, for the SvxLink UK server connection. We appreciate that. If you're new to SvxLink, then do a bit of Googling. Chris has got a YouTube channel as well, G4MAD. Chris is logged in as well tonight. G'day, Chris. Good to see you, and thank you very much for that connection. And of course, to you, the owners of the connected nodes, gadgets, and phones, and goodness knows, whatever you've used to connect, iPods, hotspots, repeaters, and everything, you get the idea. We appreciate that. I'll just reset. So that runs for 2 rounds. Round 1's our topic round, and round 2's our 7-3 round, as per usual. A big welcome to all listeners, and thanks to those that have checked in and out. You're in the log. We appreciate that as well. Don't forget to join us on Ham Live, which runs alongside the net for chat, photo, and info sharing. It's a net within itself on Ham Live. It's taken on its own life as well on the Aussie Pub Net. So if you're not on Ham Live, you really are missing out. Check that out, ham.live, or just Google Ham Live and you'll find it. Of course, tonight, because we're at the Aussie Pub, please let the group know what you're drinking. Tonight for me is good old WT Woodford tap water off back at Woodford. And the tap water here is a pretty good drop, I've got to tell you. Of course, you're welcome to check in and out if you call the log, or you're welcome to stay for the whole net. If you can only do round 1, let us know on the fly, and we'll make the adjustment at the bar accordingly and on Ham Live. Don't forget to leave breaks for at least 4 seconds between overs. That way it allows to reset on every device and on the hub itself. Don't forget you can also double with other stations, and keeping that in mind, I'll just reset the timer. Yeah, you can double with other stations on the hub just like you can in FM repairs, so just be aware of that. If you jump on top of somebody, usually pick 2 conversations out at once. They're pretty sharp, bunch of followers. Alright, so I'm going to call for any further check-ins before we get going, and then I'll call for the usual bump up. So just stand by if you've checked in and you want to bump up. Hold on, just hold on. I'll give you a chance to do that. Is there any other station wishing to check in? You've got Glenn VK4MTA taking his breath. Net controller. The Aussie Pub Net, let's go there.
Bravo 5 Hotel Tango Repeater.
Well, I don't know about you, but I didn't hear anybody. So I think we're locked and loaded for the net. 22 check-ins, so it's already a big group. So thanks very much for being a part of the Aussie Pub for this Friday night. All right, now is time. If you haven't already checked in and you want to bump up, check in and accept the bump. If you've already checked in and you want to be bumped up the list, now is your chance to do it. We'll each rotation and net controls every half hour. We'll ask again if you want to be bumped up the list, because sometimes people, like the net runs a while and people have got things to do, so we get that. So we're going to offer the bump on every net control changeover. So round out every half hour, particularly for round one. All right, so if you want to check in, there's your chance. If you want to bump up, now is definitely your chance. Press that button and tell me who you are. All right. Well, no one said on the microphone, but guess what? John VK4OZHUB snuck in on the environment. I've got the list. Scott, will we allow that? Yep. All right, John, you're on the bump list. You're number one on the bump list. And look at this. Rob VK5CRM has put his hand up. Have a go at net control. Good on you, Rob. Yeah, absolutely, mate. Yeah, for sure. Let us net controllers just have a quiet discussion in the background at the bar while the net's running. I don't know how we're going to do that. And we'll slot you in, Rob. So yeah, thanks very much for the offer. All right, so that's on track. We're in a good way. All right, I think we're ready to start. I think we're ready to put the next year and go. All right, so first on the list is the VK3OZHUB, who accepted the bump up. Go ahead there, John. Glenn, the VK4NGA on the Aussie Pub Net.
Yeah, thanks, Glenn. Thanks for letting me in. Got a bit of time this evening. Got to call the son number one and son number two at half past. So they have a net schedule every night. So we get and see how their days get on. I don't believe the size of that pizza. How can you make a pizza that big? It's making me mouth water just looking at it. It's huge. Oh, yeah. I tell you what, the ones you buy down here are like a 50th of that size. Oh, and motorbikes are the top picks. I've got a long story on a motorbike issue, but I'll cut it really short. My son bought two KLRs and wanted to convert a Gen 1 to a Gen 2, which is basically an old model that was registered, and he wanted all the new model stuff onto it, which is the Gen 2. Anyway, 7 days later, we've changed all the wiring over, all the stator, everything we swapped over, the whole lot of it. Then it wouldn't start. And we spent another 7 days trying to work out why it wouldn't start. We nutted, we checked, we swapped, we got ECU changed, still wouldn't go. And of course, he needs this bike for next weekend because he's coming to a rally down in Melbourne by my place. So we thought, right, we'll just convert it all back to the Gen 1. So we converted everything back, swapped all the wiring over again, everything. I'm talking about, this is all the bike except for the motor, basically. And then it started and it stopped and it wouldn't start again. And we thought, what the tarnation's going on here? Anyway, after another 2 days hunting around on the internet, we find there's a 100 ohm resistor that's not listed anywhere, that's on the ignition barrel, that's used for people to stop them knocking off your bikes. You know, when you normally cut the two wires and shorter and it starts it? Well, you cut two wires and shorter, it doesn't, because of the voltage divider that goes into the ECU, and it needs to see voltage. So we swapped the ignition switch over, and it all started! Oh my God. Just imagine paying Hazel's on it now, Aussie Pub's on it, everybody's connected to it, and it's the best thing since sliced bread. I love this app on my phone. I've got rid of all the other ham radio operator apps. They're in the rubbish bin. It's actually in the trash, and I'm using this one. Thanks for letting me in, Glenn. And I better go and call these kids, see what they're up to. VK4OZHUB back to net. Hopefully I have time for that. Okay, VK4NUT returning. Thanks, Blake, for NPA for running Pub Net this evening. Don't know what happened to John. Hopefully he'll come back on and get his issues sorted out. Okay, yeah, we controls. We've got ESP. We think amongst ourselves. Hi. Okay, on round one topic, motorcycles. Well, yeah, I've had quite a few over the years. I've had an RD350 Twin. Was the first real motorcycle I had. So 2-stroke.
What happened there? Oh, the radio fell off.
It looks very similar to the old
The radio fell off. I stood on the cable and it pulled it.
That was great, the old RD350s. Yeah, then I had a couple of Yamaha 100s, and the first real road bike legally registered on the road was a Yamaha SR250. Which was like the teardrop tank and chopper style, but went putt, and hardly up one hill and rides down the other. RD350s, the Yamahas, but the first real road registered legal bike I rode was the ZZR Kawasaki 250. Had that for about 2 or 3 years until I upgraded my licence, and then went to a VFR 750 Honda. Absolutely loved it. So did the Ford Telstar. Ford Telstar that pulled out in front of me. He loved it. He actually wanted to make the bike kiss it. Sent me up and over to tip me up over the bonnet, over the boot, over the bonnet and over the windscreen, sorry. And 18 months later, before I could return it. So I went out and bought the Honda Blackbird, the 1100 Triple X. So that was a lovely bike too. That was the last bike I owned. So I've had a few bikes, done a few miles, and I didn't clock up 1,000 to 1,200 kilometres at a weekend. I wasn't riding enough. Anyway, thanks, Glenn, for doing that, and back to you. VK4NGA in the Aussie Pub Net. VK4.
Oh, thanks, Scott. What a list. Wow, hope you all wrote that down. The bike that really piqued my interest on that one was the RD. Nice bike. Oh, they're so collectible now. They're so collectible. All the things that we owned way back when, and we didn't keep them, and now we think, oh, I should have kept that one. Yeah, that was definitely a keeper. They're very well sought after. They're very collectible. A lot of people restoring those, and amongst many other bikes as well. I like motorbike. Don't tell my wife. Guess what? John, VK3OZHUB, something happened, dropped out. So John's going to have another crack at that. All right, John, let's have it, because we only heard a bit of the story. VK3OZHUB and the Aussie Pub Net. VK3OZHUB, go again.
Here we was raving and ranting how good this SvxLink was, and it booted me off. Anyway, right, I don't know where I got to. But anyway, quick story on motorbikes. My son bought a couple of KLR 650s. One was registered, one wasn't. One was an old one, one was a new one. The ones that called the Generation 1 and Generation 2. So what he did was swapped all the wiring, everything over from the Generation 2, put in the Generation 1. Went to start it, wouldn't start. 3 days later, we decided we're going to swap
all the generation 2 stuff out, put it back to generation 1. Put it all back in again, started, ran 5 minutes, stopped again. And we thought, okay, go back to the generation 1, took all the wiring. This is all the wiring, this is the whole bike except for the motor. We're moving in and out, right? So shipped everything back to generation 2 again. Still doesn't want to go. Did a bit of hunting on the internet. 3, 5, 6, 10 days later, we find there's a resistor, a 100 ohm resistor is in the ignition switch on the Gen 2. And what that does is if you cut the wires, you know, you used to just cut the wires short together and start the bike up. Well, you can't, because this 100 ohm resistor feeds the ECU, doesn't it? Or it doesn't set voltage, it doesn't start. So he pinched the resistor out of the Gen 2 switch, put it in the Gen 1, and oh behold, it worked. Oh my God, what a mess that was. And yeah, quick thing on SvxLink, yeah, if you want to use it, get onto it. Thanks for Chris for connecting up all these services. And I've got all the links on my QRZ page if people are interested. It's a new app that runs on Android phones. All right, better get and call the kids. I'm running nearly 10 minutes behind now, but go to register you. Thanks, Glenn.
Yeah, VK3OZHUB and the Aussie Pub Net, VK4OZHUB. Thanks, John. Yeah, it's quite the story, that one. The good old 100 ohm resistor. Yeah. Sometimes it's the simple things that catch us up. Just having a look in the chat. See if there's anything in there I should mention. No, all good. All right. So where did we get up to? Before I call Robert VK2DY, just hold on, Robert. Stand by. Let me see if anybody else wants to check in on the audio side. So if you've got a microphone nearby and you want to check in, now's a chance. You go Glenn VK4OZHUB Net Controller, please call now.
Victor Kilo 5 Alpha Mike Hotel, but listening mode only at the moment there. Hey Glenn?
Seems to be building work is catching the lady on the corner.
Right, Bravo 5, Hotel, Tango, repeater.
Thank you, Ross. Good to hear from you. Our second VK5 representative for tonight. So that's good. And also added to the list is a couple of other stations. Just one, VK4FSC, is now checked in as well today. Alright, so we've got 24 checked in. Where are we up to? We're up to Robert, VK2DY. Over to you there, Robert. I do a motorcycle. That is the question. Have you owned one? Do you want to own one? Which one? Are they not the things to do? This is what it's all about tonight. The Top Gear is all about motorbikes. VK2DY and Aussie Pub Net, VK4OZHUB. Go ahead.
VK4OZHUB to the 2DY over to Sydney. It's currently about 21.5 degrees and overcast. Just tired day at the moment. Anyway, it's going to be a short one. Back when I was a kid, I used to ride push bikes, but I've never ridden a motorcycle. I've never been interested in riding a motorcycle. So I have no experience on it. So I'm afraid that's my answer for tonight. Short and sweet. VK2DY. That's the next.
VK2DY and the Aussie Pub Net, VK4OZHUB returning. Thanks there, Robert. Tell you what, good old motorcycle days. Still involved in motorcycling. Still riding. I'm riding again. I'll tell you about that later. Yeah, thanks very much, Robert. You've been one of the most regular people on our net. And if you want to know who's been on more nets than other people, there is also on the VK4OZHUB.com.au website all the stats. It's interesting to look at how many nets we've been and who's been on it. Who's
leaderboard, if you like. It's not really a leaderboard, but anyway. So yeah, all right. Next over is Rob, VK4OZHUB. Thanks for putting your hand up for net control, Rob. I'll flick your message in hand live once we just get ourselves sorted out, and we can, not if we'll spot you, we'll copy the spot too, if that suits you. Over you there, Rob, VK4OZHUB, and the Aussie Pub Net, VK4OZHUB. Go ahead.
Yeah, VK4NGA in the group, VK4OZHUB. Yeah, no worries there, Glenn. Good evening to everyone on the net tonight. Good morning to Chris, G4NAB. Nice to hear you again. We've been chatting quite regularly. Anyway, now motorcycles. Well, not real fan of two-wheel motorcycles. I've ridden quite a few four and three-wheelers. The three-wheelers are no longer around now. I think they're actually illegal. But many years ago, the three-wheelers used to be a lot of fun. Just, around a fruit block. Used to be able to get them sideways nicely. But anyway, no, I'm not really a fan of motorcycles as such. I definitely prefer to have some steel between me and the road. That's for sure. So I'm like you, Robert. Not a fan of motorbikes. All right, back to you there, Glenn. VK4NGA, VK4OZHUB.
Mike, Bravo, 5, Hotel.
VK4OZHUB and the Aussie Pub Net, VK4NGA returning. Yeah, I completely understand people that are not into motorcycles because there's a decent element of giant danger in there. So you and Robert consecutively, that's okay. Yeah, I mean, I was the first in my family actually. As far as I went back down the family tree, no one was a motorcycle rider. I was the very first to take interest in it. And at the very same time, I didn't realise that one of my cousins who was involved with me was also getting motorcycles. So there you go, and still involved in it. My story's not quite as colourful as some of it tonight, especially Scott's. Scott's was pretty nasty accident. So yeah. But he recovered. He got through it, as we do. All right, Rob. Just before we move on, so if you do 8 p.m. till 8:30, which is I'm going on Queensland time. I know your time's a little different. Would that suit you, or is that too late there? Back to you there, Rob.
So in 35 minutes time, yeah, no worries. That's fine, Glenn.
No, that's so that's 8 p.m. Oh, wait a sec. Hang on, let me just check this. I'm looking at the group chat.
Daylight savings time. For those who are watching, Queensland doesn't have daylight savings time.
Okay, so we'll lock you in for that, Rob. Is that fine with you, Cursor?
Apparently the curtains will fade,
Yeah, roger that.
and the cows will know what time it's been they're milking.
Because I tell you, the time zones are just damn.
That was a joke.
That's for sure. At the moment, it's not long now though till it'll all be a bit more understandable.
Oh, yeah, I really struggle with the math, to be honest. And you guys are half out different as well. Either advanced or the other way. I can't remember. I could Google it, but I'm a touch busy. Hey, thanks very much, Rob, for chipping in. I appreciate that. Very nice to have you on board. All right, now I was going to 7:26, so we're going to leave that Queensland time. But is VK4OZHUB. I just can't do it as good as you, Al. I can't do it. I can't. I've got Cody, VK4NGA second operator here. Goes to, so he's hanging out to chip into the man. Cody's my grandson. Yeah. Alan just put up, no one can do it like I can. Absolutely, yeah. I like the group, motorcycling group you're in, Al. It was a cuddly group. That sort of just doesn't go together, you know, with motorcycle groups and cuddles. Maybe it's a modern thing when I was young, the motorcycle riding strawberry cuddly. Hey, guess what? It's time for a net control changeover. We've gone 7:30 local. Could be 8:30 your place. Could be 9:45 down there and 7:45 over there. I don't know. I don't know all the time zones. Kobe's, hang on, there's somebody else in the shack. Who else is in the shack, Kobe? Who's in here? Scott? Scott's here. Scott, what are you doing here? How'd you get here? Far out. Scott, pouring your teeth in the shack. Actually, he's been here all along. Stand by. Thought I better reset, you know, going on. Scott's been here all along. And there's a photo on Ham Live. Scott front and centre, myself and Crazy today. So this is my second jacket. This one's got more gear in it than the other one, I'm sure. Anyway, enough from me. Kobe's itching to say good day. So if you want to say hello to the group, Kobe, I'll hold the microphone down for you. Here's Kobe, VK4NGA, second operator. Stand by, we'll come back.
Mike, Bravo. Hi, Kobe. Tango, repeater.
Good on you, Kobe. I was in the car with Kobe the other day and we were heading down to Redcliffe. It was about an hour's drive. And Kobe actually had a chat on 2 metres with I think it was VK4OZHUB in Singapore. So it was very nice for a younger person to get on the microphone. Sure. Well done, Kobe. Pretty hard to get that microphone. Yeah, talking on the radio, but you did well. All right, it's time to flick the net control switch. It's currently, we didn't flick from Scott to me anyway. Whoops. No, we didn't. So Scott to me. If Scott orders, he's right here. Tell him what to do. No, it's not true. Clancy, please. All right, so next on the list is Clancy, and he's already in the list for an over. So let's flick the net into neutral while we just exchanged one net controller out for another. And thanks very much, Clancy, for picking it up. Appreciate all the net controllers. Everybody does a great job here at the Aussie Pub Net on VK4OZHUB. All right, so take it away there, Clancy. VK4CGQ, VK4NGA is on the break. VK4NGA and the Aussie Pub Net, VK4 Charlie Dom Quebec. Definitely doesn't sound the same without that 2ROT repeater second pound, but that's all good. Good evening all. I'm at control for the next 30 minutes, or sooner than that, who knows. And if Scott, hey look, if Scott's at the shack, then what am I doing? I should have taken the night off like Brent. We could have had a hand between us. Anyway, next on the list, VK4FC, VK4 Charlie Golf Quebec, and the Aussie Pub Net. Motorcycle, over to you. Yeah, VK4CGQ in the group, VK4FC returning. Well, Aussie Pub Net on a Friday night. Tonight I've got a gin and soda in my hand, so that's been very nice so far. Motorbikes. Just can't remember a time
80s IT490 two-stroke. Most terrifying bike I've ever ridden. Come close with a bike that my brother owned, which was a TZR 250 with a cylinder two-stroke road bike, and it was terrifying to ride. At the moment, I haven't ridden a bike for quite a while. I still have one or two, but haven't ridden for quite some time. There's quite a few idiots on the road, so I've sort of let it slide.
What
Bravo 5
happened?
Hotel Tango repeater.
That looks like Ormond 3 has dropped out. Nope.
VK4XC still there? VK4 Charlie Golf Quebec. Yeah, VK4 CG2 in the group, VK4XC. Yeah, I'm done. I know I timed out, but I was finished anyway. Thanks, Clancy. Excellent. No worries, mate. VK4 Charlie Golf Quebec turning. Alright, before I forget again, we will do bump up. So anyone who wants to bump up, call through with your call sign now. VK4 Charlie Golf Quebec, stand by.
Yeah, G4 NAB would appreciate it.
Alright, G4 NAB was the only one that called through that I heard. So over to you, Chris. G4 NAB, VK4 Charlie Golf Quebec, the Aussie Pub Net. Topic tonight is motorcycles. Let's see what you've got today.
Yeah, thanks very much, and good morning to everybody. Yeah, professionally, in the job, I was riding a CB200, but I've owned a Super Dream 250, Super Dream 400, both of which I rebuilt. But my best bike was an RT80, an ex-Humber side police patrol bike, complete with fairing and a calibrated speedometer. Great fun with that. Haven't ridden a motorcycle now since 2003. Unfortunately, I've got double carpal tunnel syndrome, and my arms, my lower arms on my wrists and hands go to sleep if I put them in a steady position for too long. It sometimes wakes me up at night when I've got no arms, so I have to shake myself about a bit. Yeah, motorcycling, a great time. Heated handlebars on the RT80, that was fun in winter, and great fun with that bike. Before I sign off, if anybody's watching my YouTube, or they've got the UK wide monitor up and they've got the maps, you will see little red lights flashing where the transmitters are operating on the map, so you can see what's going on in the SvxLink network. Anyway, thanks very much, guys. I'm only going to stay until the top of the hour, but you are on YouTube for posterity. So back to you from G4 NAB.
G4 NAB, VK4 Charlie Golf Quebec, and the Aussie Pub Net. Thanks very much, Chris. And I'll be honest, I don't know much about motorcycles. I think the only motorcycle I really know is this Kawasaki Ninja. That was because it was in video games. I like the green that they used to have. So that's the extent of my knowledge on any sort of motorcycle. So I don't really have much to add on those topics, unfortunately. But next to the list, we've got VK2HAX, VK4 Charlie Golf Quebec, and the Aussie Pub Net. Topic tonight is motorcycles. So over to you. VK2 CGQ, VK4, sorry, get the right bits from VK2HAO in the group. Yeah, not much of a motorbike rider. The only thing I've had to do with a motorbike was when I lived down in Melbourne, the old school days and so on. I used to have a mate whose father used to rebuild done up again. And yeah, the one eye was right, that was fine to ride. First one didn't rip the bike. It was a VSA super bantam, which I ploughed straight into a fence. Knocked myself out because I hit the main part of the fence, and that knocked myself out. Didn't bite much good either. But needless to say, I didn't ride any more bikes after that. Well, apart from the push bikes, but I didn't do much. Yeah, try again. VK4OZHUB.
VK2HA, VK4 Charlie Golf Quebec, and the Aussie Pub Net. Thank you very much for your input, and good to have you on the net again this week. Next on the list, we've got VK2 IKZ, Isaac. Over to you, mate. Have you done much with motorcycles?
Mike, Bravo, 5.
Okay, 4-2. Okay, 4-2 DQ. Afternoon, Clancy. Okay, 4IK, is it returning? And yeah, thanks for picking it up, and g'day to Rob there. Rob. I was speaking to Rob, but Glenn, Scott, who's there, up there in Woodford. Scott, up
Pub Net, good evening, good afternoon, good night, and good morning to all. Thank you very much, Clint, for taking up your little section, your little time. Yeah, well, what can I say? But it was a long time ago. I'm on the cruise night, chasing cows down at the Uncle Farm, rounding them up with the milking, and I met the electric fence and irrigation shuttle all at once. That was the last time I ever was in charge of a motorbike, if you want to call it that. It's the old pasty bike from the farm with no tyres. It sort of worked for a while, but no, in the end. Next time was quite a long year later, and we're on the back bay Katana on the highway number 1 down here in Melbourne, and the visor, as being a passenger, pillion passenger, the visor on my helmet just had around about X amount of speed and nearly ripped my head off. That was the exact last time I ever got on a bike. Since then, unfortunately, I couldn't cruise with my friends no longer here because of them, and unfortunately, his family, that's what they call things. So, yeah, that's great to be hearing so many riders out there that are still there. Probably before it, but I think very, very lucky to be able to have it. VK4OZHUB in the group, VK3 MGF. VK3 MGF, VK4 Charlie Golf. No worries, thanks for joining us this week on the Aussie Pub Net. Next on the list, VK3 DDI. Wayne, over to you. All about motorcycles. VK4 Charlie Golf Quebec, VK3 DDI. The only one in my family has actually got a motorbike license. My second oldest brother, and the bike he's actually riding at the moment, it's a Harley Davidson Softail, and he won't part with it because he's actually riding that since he bought it. He's been looked after that damn thing for a long time, and it's not for sale.
Right, Bravo,
VK3 DDI, VK4 Charlie Golf Quebec, and the Aussie Pub Net. Yeah, fair enough. Can't complain about that. I suppose Harley Davidson always seems to have a dedicated group of people. Alright, now on the list, we've got VK7 WP, VK4 Charlie Golf Quebec, and the Aussie Pub Net. Motorcycles at the top of tonight.
Yeah, I'll show you that. Let's zoom in to that box. Andreas has asked me about adding a talk group from the dashboard, and you do it like this. You type in 915054, which is the talk group I'm already on as it happens, and then send the DTMF code. It won't do anything because we're already there, of course. It may do an announcement, but as you see, we're already there. VK4OZHUB. Yeah, you got to put a 91 in front of it. 915054 hash. Yes, there you go. Yes. It's easy once you get to know. Right.
It's a very interesting subject tonight. Very interesting story. Always good to hear
That's a big one, Paul.
VK4OZHUB.
Oh, he did make the announcement. There you go.
VK7WP, VK4 Charlie Golf Clubbing, the Aussie Pub Net.
Right, I should be disconnecting from the Aussie Pub Net to do some household chores. And I will see you next time.
Next week. We've got VK3KK.
7-3 for now. G4NAB is out. Goodbye now.